70 years. Here's another thing. Now, when Jeremiah was one of the prophets then, and he was prophesying that Babylon was Nebuchadnezzar was going to come in to Israel. And what did he say to the king? What did he tell him to do with the nation? Does anyone know? Surrender. He said, surrender. He said, listen, you're going to surrender to Nebuchadnezzar. You're going to let him take you captive. You're going to go into Babylon. You're going to marry. You're going to have businesses. And you're going to pray for the city. God tells them to pray for the city. Should we pray for America? If Jeremiah tells them to pray for Babylon, should we pray for America? Absolutely. So Jeremiah tells the king, I think it was Zedekiah, or Jehoiakim. There's a Jehoiachin, there's a Jehoiakim, there's a Zedekiah. But did they surrender? They didn't surrender. Because they didn't surrender, Nebuchadnezzar comes in and he surrounds the city and he starves them until they do what? Eat their kids. You hear that? That's good. They ate their kids. There was so much famine that they ate their kids. Okay. All right. So instead of surrendering, they fall. Okay. So to me, that's what? To me, that's what? If they didn't obey what Jeremiah said, that is what? Disobedience. Do you see the problem with Israel? Disobedience. Now watch. God says to them, surrender. They don't surrender. They want to fight. Nebuchadnezzar comes and wipes them out. If they surrendered, they were going to be okay. Why? Because how long was the duration that they were going to stay in Babylon? 70 years. So God already told them, buddy, because nation, because of your disobedience, you're going to go into captivity because I'm going to take idolatry out of you. I'm going to remove that idolatry. When they came back, idolatry was out of them. But the problem is they disobeyed. So that's interesting. So keep that in mind. Disobedience. Aren't we disobedient individuals? Huh? Oh, yeah. So I got a few scriptures to read. I'm not going to read it. It's Jeremiah 29, 5, 6, and all the way to 10. It says, look, let me read it. Jeremiah 29, 5. Build houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminish. He's telling them, go over there, start a life. In a heathen country. It goes, and seek the peace of the city, whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto the Lord for it, for in the peace thereof shall ye have peace. He's saying, pray for Babylon. Isn't that interesting? Pray for Babylon. And it says, for this saith the Lord, the God of Israel, listen what he says. Tell me what this means. Let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of thee deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which cause to be dreamed. What is he saying here to those other prophets that are prophesying? Don't listen to them. Why is he saying don't listen to them? Because they're bozos. You know why? They're telling the Jews, you're going to be okay. Don't listen to Jeremiah. Jeremiah is off his rocker. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You can stay here. It's going to be okay. God is going to protect you in Israel. You got it. Okay. For this saith the Lord, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word towards you in causing you to return to the peace. To this place. After 70 years in Babylon, who took over? Cyrus the Great. He made a decree. The decree was that Israel was free to go back. Just like God said. Did Israel obey? Did Israel obey? Shh. The question was, did Israel obey? Not all of them went back. There was 3 groups that did go back to rebuild the temple and eventually the wall, but not all of them went back. Okay? Why did some? Wait a minute. Let me get the question out. Why did some stay behind?
There were 2.
They became. Let me read what I got. They became very comfortable with the Babylonian lifestyle. You know why? Because they were businessmen. They were smart dudes. So in Babylon, they were making money. Okay, because they set up businesses wherever the Jews go, they're not slouches. Okay, so they went to Babylon, they start up businesses, and they're making money. Now they're gonna go. Now Jerusalem is what? Israel is what? Destroyed. They don't want to go back and rebuild. They're making a good cash crop. And I'm going to get back and I'm going to go labor? No, really, I'm not going to go. What they should have done is what? Right? So what's the problem again with Israel? Again, God tells them, stay. What did they say? No way. Then God says, go. What did they say? Huh? They stayed. Isn't that like, that's like us, right? That's like even like children. You tell children don't touch. They touch. Listen. There's a sign that says wet paint. You know what I do? Make sure it's wet. What a bozo. I make sure I touch it and I go, ooh, I shouldn't have touched it. We're just rebellious, aren't we? We can see it, all right? All right, so they were 3 groups. We have trouble obeying, yes? If we just obeyed, if your kids obeyed you, would they be okay? Yeah.
I've been anything waxing down the internal painting and it'll be all wet. And you always knew somebody's gonna touch the paint, so you put a sample.
That's touch it, yeah. That's great. But isn't it true? God says to them, stay, they do what? Go. God says to them, go back, they do what? Okay. The book of Esther will show again what happens to the Jewish people that stood behind in Persia instead of returning home. They got in trouble because they did not want to return. You understand that? Okay. The Jewish nation, again, was rescued from what's the word I'm looking, more than annihilation, extermination. They were rescued from extermination. Now, if you learn the Old Testament, was there ever any decreed for total extermination in the old books? No, never. No, except Esther. Not Esther. Any other Old Testament book, was there ever a total decree of total extermination? Not Esther. Not Esther. Any book except Esther. Was there any decree of total extermination? Never. Pharaoh wasn't total extermination. Right? Herod was never a total extermination, but the only book of total extermination was the book of Esther, when Haman wanted to exterminate every total Jew in the whole entire Persian Empire. The first book, okay? So Esther is a book showing Satan's hatred for the Jews. Listen, I'm going to use the word anti-Semitism, okay? Anti-Semitism. Is there anti-Semitism today? So what year are we in? 2024. Anti-Semitism in the let me see, 5th century. 5th century. That's just a guess because 500 something means one behind. So the 5th century. This book is around, I'm guessing 480 BC, somewhere in there, and all this. So in the 5th century, anti-Semitism was at its height. Right? Does this book fit for today? Anti-Semitism. Hitler. Anti-Semitism. Let me ask you something. At the end of the world, they'll be guided by who? And listen, Esther is a book showing hatred for the Jews. Anti-Semitism. Has anti-Semitism diminished? Is it on the increase? Look at the colleges of America. Okay, now we're on air, so we don't want to get political, and here we go. At the end, there's going to be a leader who is filled with Satan, and what is he going to do? What is his desire? To exterminate the nation of Israel. Nothing new under the sun. Right? If Haman, I'm thinking of ham. I think I want a piece of ham or something. If Haman was successful, what would happen to the nation? There'd be no Israel. They're going to, listen, all this squawking on TV, Israel's going nowhere. Why isn't Israel going nowhere? Because guess what? They want to blow Israel from the map of the world. Israel's going nowhere. As a matter of fact, Israel is going to be the center of the universe. Verse. Esther 4:14. Let's turn it. Esther 4:14. Esther 4. Key verse of the Bible. The key verse. Everyone's okay. Esther 4:14. Here we go. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time. This is Haman. This is Mordecai saying this to Esther, okay? Esther 4:14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at that time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. What is Mordecai saying to Esther? Right there, those two segments. What is he saying? He's telling Esther, what is he saying? If you don't say anything, Esther, you got to say something, okay? If you don't say anything, okay, guess what? God is going to raise somebody else, okay? So we think if we don't do anything, the plan of God is going to stop. Give me a break. If you don't want to step up to the plate, somebody else will, right? So he's saying to Esther, you don't want to step up to the plate, somebody else will. But he goes on and he says, but thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. Hey, you got to step up to the plate, because Esther is a what? Esther is a Jew, and Xerxes the king, or Ahasuerus, who is Xerxes, doesn't know Esther is a Jew. But we're going to find out why Haman knows Esther is a Jew. As we go on, Haman doesn't. Haman hates the Jews, and we're going to find out why Haman has a great hatred for the Jews. We're going to find out why he can't stand the Jews. As we go on, and who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? What is Mordecai saying to Esther? God raised you up for this purpose, for this time. How do you know God didn't raise you up to be here to save the nation? Does Esther save the nation? Absolutely. God uses a woman to save the nation from annihilation. Okay? So let's get into Esther. The first chapter will blow you away. Because I don't think you expect what is going to be said today. I don't think that ever crossed your mind what you have learned. I think this, we're going to look at this impressive feast. Okay? Now remember, Esther doesn't want to be a queen. Esther has no desire of being a queen. Okay? Esther was pulled out from another place to come into Shushan, whatever this place in Iran. Okay? So there's a reason for this impressive feast. Can anyone, whoever read this book before, tell me what the reason for this impressive feast? Anyone have a clue? Give me a few seconds.
They were both.
That's very good. Okay, but we're going to stop. Yeah, but there's a reason. Okay, but that's good. That's good. He's boasting. Okay, one more statement. Go ahead. He's boasting. To show what?
To show all of his glory and all of his possessions and all that he has and how great he is.
For a reason. You're right. We're going to find out the reason. No, we're going to find out. You're close. That's right. We're going to read this, okay? There's a reason, okay? Now remember, this is... So this Xerxes the first is down the line, okay? The place was conquered by who? Cyrus the Great, okay? So this is a successor down the line, okay? A ruler, okay? Now remember, he's a king. He has a desire. The desire of a king's never leave. They never change, okay? So this king has a desire. That's why the feast. There's a reason for the feast because he has a reason for it and he has a desire, and this is why the feast. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, remember he's the number one of the Persian Empire now. Okay, Ahasuerus. Okay, let's read it. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 120 provinces. 127 provinces, okay? Ahasuerus is not the king's name. It's a title. I looked it up in the concordance. It says it's not a name, it's a title. The name of the king is Xerxes the First. This is Xerxes the First in history, okay? So remember that, okay? He's the ruler of the empire. And rulers have desires. Okay? Okay, here we go. We're going to find out why this impressive feast. Next verse. That in the days when the king Ahasuerus, which is Xerxes the First, sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, a place in Iran. Okay? Now let's go on. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and servants and the power of Persia and Media, the nobles, the princes, the providence being before him. There's a reason for this feast. In this feast, he invites who? Huh? What is it? Look who the nobles. Yes, the nobles. So who are the nobles? Who are the nobles? Yeah, but that means what? They're ordinary people? No, they're your Congress and your senators and right. That's all these. Right, now watch. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty, many days, even 140 days. He's putting on a party for how many days? 180 days. He 180 days. He's bringing together the important people, and there's a reason for this party that's going to last 180 days. Can you guess the reason for this party? Huh? Go ahead. That's good. That's okay. You hear what you said? What you say? They wanted to back him up. Okay, that's very good. Let's go on. That's excellent. Okay, he's showing them his riches. The reason he wants to be the ultimate supreme ruler of the world of that day. Isn't that the desire of kings? Right? Wasn't that the desire of Hitler? Stalin, was that the desire of Stalin? Right? They want to. So kings, that's very good. King Xerxes, listen to what I have. King Xerxes wants his leaders to back him up. Okay? Why? He's taken most of the known world. He's a king. He has a desire. So he has the most of the whole known world, but he doesn't have all of it. What does he want to do?
First, the nobles and have the nobles tell the people, look, get behind this.
He wants more land. He wants Greece. If you go into history, Xerxes I goes after Greece. He wins. Remember the Thermopylae, the Battle of Thermopylae was the battle against the Spartans. Who won? Xerxes beat the Spartans. The Spartans almost won, but they still did. He destroys Athens. He wants to go into the mainland, but there's a battle in a naval battle in Salamis where the Greeks defeat Xerxes, okay, but Xerxes goes back. But he's now having this big party, right? And he's trying to get the support of his, remember, Nebuchadnezzar would say, men, shoot up, we're going. He can't do this. So he's trying to convince them to support him because he wants to capture Greece. If you look at history, Xerxes I wanted Greece. He never conquered Greece, but he did a little tuner on it, okay? So that was the reason why the feast. He wants them to back him up so he can go into Greece. Is that awesome? Right? Right? So he's, come on in, let's party. And I want, do politicians do that today? Right? Don't they have certain groups that they party so they can get their votes, right? Doesn't certain groups buy out politicians so they can get their agenda going? Do they do that today? Same thing. This guy, what is it? He's lobbying. He's lobbying. Nothing new under the sun. Today the government does that. They lobby to get whatever they want, right? They have big parties and so they can, he's lobbying. Come on guys. I want to show you. I want to show you what I have because I want you to back me up. Okay, let's go on. Is that good? Right? That's good. Right? It's awesome. Now watch. So that's the feast. Now the immoderation of the feast. What does that mean? The excessiveness or the overindulgence of the feast. Let's read. Verse 5. This is 180-day feast, okay? And when these days expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that was present in Shushan, the palace, both unto great and small. Then 7 days, so the last 7 days, what is he moved the feast into what? Into his court, into his garden, into the king's place, into his garden, okay? There's a reason why. Okay, let's read. So he moves these guys into the garden. Now watch what's in this garden, in this his garden. He's showing off. He's boasting. Okay, where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen, purple to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver, upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. Woo! So he moves this, the last 7 days, he moves this party into his garden. Right? As we go on. And they gave them drink in vessels of what? Gold. Guys, you guys don't go to bars, okay? But when you used to go to bars, it was in an old plastic, right? An old plastic mug that was just put in water, dirty as can be. Rinse it a little bit and fill it up and give it to another drunk. Okay, as we go, right? The vessels diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king. Now listen to the next verse. And the drinking was according to the law, none did compel, for such the king had appointed to all the officers of his house, that they should be according to every man's pleasure. You know what they're saying? You know what it's saying there? Huh? You know what it's saying in verse 8? If you want to drink until you puke, you can. If you don't want to drink until you puke, you can. But now parties, if you don't drink, you're an outcast. You know what I mean? Right? He's saying you want to drink until you get alcohol poison, go for it. You don't want to drink much, that's okay. All right? What do you mean?
He's saying according to every man's pleasure. Sure.
Yeah, so whatever you want to do it. You want to drink until you want to drink it. No. I don't think that's not yet. I mean, he doesn't do that, but we're going to see what he does. But he's not doing that. He's saying you drink as you get him loaded. Why does he want to get him loaded? Because listen, this is people. Okay, we think we read the Bible. We think when you're drunk, you say yes to anything, right? So he wants to get him nice and loaded to say, hey, man, you're behind me? Yep. Okay, you're a me now. You say yes. It's done. You can't change. Okay, here we go, all right? So he moves them into this beautiful garden. What is he doing? What is he doing? But why is he doing that? Why is he showing them all the golden vessels, the marble floors? What is he doing to these high officials? To rally behind them. Why? You're right. What is he showing them? He's showing them, this is what he's doing. He's showing them, look at men. Look what I have. You're drinking out of gold vessels. Okay? You're walking on marble floors. Look at it. Yeah. Listen, do you think I can't fund this war? I can fund this war. Look what I have. I can fund this war. What I want is you behind me. You give me the go. I need your men to come behind me and give me the go. Look what I have. Look, I have everything. He wants them to be behind them. That's why he's showing them. They're drinking from gold vessels. He's saying, look what I have. I can fund this war and any war. And I want Greece. And I want you men to back me up because I want Greece. Xerxes goes after Greece. He goes after Greece. Okay? So he brings all the great treasures. Okay? So there's 180 days, nothing but a drunken orgy. He's showing them that he can fund any war. He's trying to show them, look what I have, and I want to be the next ruler of the whole world. I want more, and I want you to back me up. That's why the feast. That's what he's doing. Does it make sense? Listen, Nebuchadnezzar wanted what? Power. Okay? These leaders of Persia want what? Power. Alexander the Great wanted what? You know, he got depressed and went to a drunken state. And you know why he went into a drunken state? Anyone know? Huh? He said, I got no other place to conquer. I conquered everything. Guess what? When the Roman came, what did they want? Everything. What does the Antichrist want? everything. So you see, so we read these stories and we don't get this. These are human beings. These are men. These are men, and men want power, right? So as we go on, we're going to look at the queen. The insolent queen means lack of respect. Now watch what happens to the queen. And I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to try to pronounce these names. Hey, give me a break, okay? If I mess them up, here we go, okay? Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the woman in the royal house, which belonged to the king Ahasuerus. Okay. On the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry, so he was what? He was feeling good, huh? He was drinking good stuff, right? With wine, he commanded. Here we go. Okay. Mehamim, Bista, Habana, Bigtha, and Abagtha, Zitha, and Carcass, the seven chamberlains. These seven chamberlains, he asked these seven guys, these seven chamberlains, to go get, we're going to find, the chamberlains are who? Who are the chamberlains? Now he's going to use these chamberlains to go get the wife. The chamberlains are what? They're eunuchs. They castrated eunuchs. You want to know why? They were always next to the harem, right? And he's going to make sure there's no hanky panky. So he takes care of them. He castrates them. Oh my word. Okay, as we go on, okay? That served in the presence of Ahasuerus, the king, to bring Vashti, the queen before the king with the crown of oil, to show the people and the princes how beautiful, for she was fair to look on. So there's two parties, okay? There's a party for the men, there's a party for the ladies. They can't have parties together. That tradition, they were separate, okay? It was commanded to be separate. These guys are well, good and drunk. Okay, think about it, right? Think about it, right? Guys, think about it. Some of you never drank. Maybe some of you did. When you're drunk, you're stupid, right? Okay? He's drunk. So the king's stupid, okay? Now, there's a lot of these guys drunks, okay? They're stupid, okay? He decides to show off his wife. So they can look at her. Right? Isn't that stupid? This is dumb, but he's good and drunk, right? She says what? Listen, now think about it, okay? Think about this. Let me drink, because this is good, okay? I just set up why the feast, right? I spent 40 minutes spent the feast. And why the feast, okay? Right? I told you why the feast, why was he doing, why did he set up the feast, and for what? He's good and drunk. He tells his wife, let's go. I want you to show yourself to these guys. She said no. Why did she say no? No. That's later. That's later in the story. Why did she say no? That's later in the story, bud. Why did she say no? Listen, guys. Use your brains, right? They're drunk. The king's drunk. The guys are drunk. And this beauty, he wants this beauty to parade in front of them. Why did she say no? Because he was afraid of the drunks, not afraid of the king. That's stupidity. Drunk. Men who are drunk do stupid things, yes? Things will get out of hand. I mean, it's like common sense. Is afraid of the king. She wasn't afraid of the king. She said no. It's because she was a woman of integrity. Because she knew things could get out of hand. You're going to have a few bozos that are going to do something dumb, right? And she knew that, okay? She's not going to present herself. She knew the king was drunk, and she knew everybody else was drunk, and she's not going to place herself in that position, right? Any wise woman wouldn't, correct? Yes. So Vashti was a woman of courage. Told the king, "There's no way. You guys are all sloshed. What's the word? Sloshed. you're all slushed, you're all drunk, and I'm gonna, now there's, how many men are there drunk out of their mind? There's gonna be someone doing something stupid, right? Okay, now listen to this. So Vashti says, no. The king, the inflamed king, we're going to read. Listen, okay? Pay attention. I'm going to ask the question. I want you to think, okay, when I ask this question. Now, the king says to the eunuchs, bring him out, bring her out. She says to the eunuchs, tell him no. Okay, listen. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains, eunuchs. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him. His anger consumed him. He was livid. Why?
Because she's embarrassed.
Why? The king is embarrassed. I got that. Look. Wait. King is embarrassed. Look. Why? King is embarrassed. Why was the king embarrassed? Think. I built up the story. I told you why the feast. Why is the king hot and embarrassed?
Before now, all the guys are gonna back him up. I was embarrassed because, look, you don't know what she's saying.
Hey! Was that okay of a word I just said? I said, oh, it's okay. Yes! That's it! He's showing everybody how powerful he is. He's showing everybody, look what I have. Look what I built. And listen, woman, come on. Woman says, no. He's embarrassed. He wants them to back him up to be the ruler of the world where he can't even rule a woman. He's embarrassed. He's messed up. He thinks, now, what am I going to do? These guys not going to back me up. How am I going to command you to go die when I can't command my wife to walk between you? The woman said, no, he's messed up. Isn't that good? That's good. That's why he got mad. Because he wants to command an army of 130,000, but he can't command one woman. And these guys are going to say, okay, you're a wimp. All right, so we go on. All right, is that good? Huh? Okay, listen. He's trying to gather them to see if they're going to follow him to go against Greece, but he can't even command his wife. Okay, as we go on. Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise, which knew the times. Okay, remember? Persia is inferior than Babylon. He can't make a decision. What is he going to do? He's going to ask everybody around him. Okay, that's what it says, right? For so much was the king's manner towards all that knew the law and judgment. So he's going to ask, here we go again. I'm going to try to do these names, okay? He's going to ask, and the next unto him was Senna, Sita, Admatha, Tashish, Mersis, Maasina, and Memucan, the 7 princes of the Persia and Medes, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. So these were how many guys there? Whatever the many guys there. These was a high position. He can't make a decision. He's got to ask them to help him make a decision. Now listen to this. So he says, what shall we do unto King Vashti according to the law? Because she had not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains. He's asking everyone, what am I going to do? Nebuchadnezzar would say, like Henry, what was the king? Henry VIII. Next! I mean, that's what Nebuchadnezzar would have done. This guy goes, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Guys, help me. What am I going to do? He doesn't make a decision, but somebody else makes a decision for him. Listen, as we go on. Okay, ready? The impetuous edict. In other words, he shouldn't have done this, but he does it. This guy steps up, and Memucan answered before the king and the princes. Vashti the queen had not done wrong, had not done wrong to the king only. Okay, listen. This guy is saying, it doesn't affect just you, man. Now watch. This guy's worried. It's affecting him, right? It's afraid it's going to affect him. You know why he's afraid it's going to affect him? Why? Because, yes, that's right. But we're going to see why this guy steps up. He's probably a wimp. He's probably afraid to, because he's probably afraid of his wife, because she wears the pants. So he knows if the king doesn't say something, if I go home, my wife wears the pants. She's gonna drive me to the ground. So king, you better do something to save my skin. That's why this guy steps up, because he's a wimp. All right, as we go, ready? Right? So this guy steps up and says, hey, but also to the princes and all the people that are in the premises of the king of Ahasuerus. This deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise the husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. So he's scared. He's scared, so he steps up and he's making a suggestion. Likewise, shall the ladies of Persia and Medes say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deeds of the queen, thus shall they arise to much contempt and wrath. If it please, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the lords of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the queen, before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give his royal estate unto another that is better than she. He's saying, what? Get rid of her. No. King Ahasuerus doesn't want to get rid of her. This Memucan wants to get rid of Vashti because he doesn't want to face his wife when he gets home, because he's afraid of her, because she wears the pants, right? Some men, their wives wear the pants. They don't like to go home. That's why they work a lot of overtime. Right, and that's why they work a lot of overtime, and she's in one room, and there's another room. Isn't there a proverb that says, like a drip, you can hear? If there's a drip, it can be a faucet that drips. It can be in the other side of the house, and you can hear it. Right? Some men have women like that. Tick, 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 drives them crazy. This one had one like that. He doesn't want to go home. If the king doesn't do something, he's going to hear it the rest of his life. He probably, if the king doesn't do anything, he's probably going to move his bed into the palace. Okay? Think about it. That's why this guy says this, right? Now, because the king Xerxes doesn't want to. We're going to find out, but he does because during that time, he can't make a decision. He's got to talk to this guy, talk to that guy, talk to that guy, talk to that guy, and make a decision. Okay, as we go on. And when the king's decree, which shall make, he shall make, shall be published throughout all the empire. For it is great. All the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both great and small. Isn't that awesome? He's going to make a decree that the woman got to make sure that the man is the man. That doesn't fly in the 21st century. Huh? If I go home and I beat my chest and I tell my wife, I'm the boss, you know what she's going to say? She's going to say, sleep outside. Huh? Maybe to Ricky. Yeah, that's right. I'm the boss only to Ricky. I'm not even the boss to my cat. My stinking cat doesn't listen to not a one iota. And my cat, you know why she don't listen? Because she's a female. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Strike that. Erase that. Erase that. I'm only kidding. I love my wife. You guys know that, right? I love my. Okay, we go on. Okay, strike that. Don't put this on air, Pastor George. Delete this. Okay, and the next verse. The next verse. Ready? The next verse. And the saying pleased the king, and the princess, and the king, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. Wimp. One man, one hand-pecked, spineless man had an influence to a ruler because he didn't want to face the music. There you go. That's awesome. You don't want to face the music because you know who wore the pants that right? She did. Okay, as we go on. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every person. That is cruel. So that was made. And why do you think that decree was made? And I gave you the input. Why do you think that decree was made? I don't think for him to save face. Now, I think this guy stepped up and made a suggestion because I really believe this guy had a wife that bossed him around. And he didn't want to go home. And so he needed the king to step up and help his life, because if not, he was in trouble. So he needed the king to save him. He was scared. He was scared. He knew he was toast. He knew he was toast if the king didn't do anything. He was afraid to go home.
Plus he's running for 180 days.
And he's going to come home and try to kiss his wife, right? His wife is going to throw him right out. So they make a decree where the men are. This is where is this done? Where is that? So think about it. This is done in Iran, and where the men are still superior because Iran, because of this. Because of this decree and stuff like this, it still takes on, even today, that the men are the boss and the women are behind the men. If I ever told my woman, I'm sorry, I shouldn't even say it like that. If I ever told my wife to walk 3 steps behind me, you know what she would have done as she's behind me? Kick me all the way. She'd be kicking me all the way. So he makes his decree, okay? And then later he has a beauty contest. Okay, he has a beauty contest because of this. He kicks Vashti's out. Now he's going to go throughout the province. We're going to find out that he's going to get the most beautiful virgins into his palace, and he's going to choose one. Okay? But Xerxes took the advice of his friends and later regretted. How do I know that? Read Esther chapter 2 verse 1. Let's go to Esther chapter 2 verse 1. Esther, okay? So he takes the advice of this spineless guy who's afraid of his wife. So he wants Xerxes to make a decree so he can save his skin. Okay, and Xerxes regrets the decision. Watch. After these things, the wrath of King Ahasuerus or Xerxes was appeased. Calm down. He remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. So he later regretted that he kicked her out. It bothered him. But he's the king. He cannot now reverse the decree. So that ends chapter 2. Very interesting, right? Does that give you a different light to chapter 1? Does that give you a different light to chapter 1? Yes? A different light? No? Yes? Right? We understand why the party, right? The party, he's showing off because he wants to go on a campaign, okay? And he's backing up support. He gets drunk, sends his wife down the aisle. She says no. He gets mad as a hornet because he can't command his wife and he wants these guys to back him up. And now he doesn't know what to do. One guy steps up and says, hey man, kick her out. And make this decree that the woman should be under the men. Okay? So God is not mentioned once in this book, okay? So out of chapter 1, now Esther is going to come into the scene, okay? But Esther's not mentioned in chapter 1, but Esther is coming in because there's going to be a beauty contest. But let me ask you something. God is not mentioned not once in this book. But what do you see out of this first chapter about God?
His providential care.
Okay. Yes. He's in control. What else? What else do you see? God's not mentioned once. But how do you see God in chapter 1? So he has a plan. Because he's what? Because he's what? He's in control, right? What else you get? God is not mentioned once in this book, but you're saying he's saying the providential care that God is in control. God is setting this whole thing up, right? This is Esther setting it all up. The plan didn't happen in 40 AD. This plan just didn't occur at this time. When did this plan occur? Back before even time was. Listen, before even time was, this plan is already set. Before this plan took place, way back here, in eternity past, this plan already existed in the mind of God. What does that say? I have here, sovereign hand on the world. This happened in the 5th century, somewhere around there, in and out, whatever, give me plus or minus 50, 60 years or whatever. Happened here. We're over here. And back here, before this happened, already happened in the mind of God. In the mind of God, Esther was. In the mind of God, way back when, before even Babylon, Persia existed, in the mind of man, in the mind of God, exactly was. In the mind of God, way back when, the Antichrist is in his mind. That's profound, isn't it? Right? Before you were born, before you even your mother's womb, before you even existed, before your father touched your mother, you already there. You already born in God's eye. Is that cool? Huh? Is that cool? So what does that say to us?
Present, past.
What should that do to us? Huh? Yeah. This is the extermination of a nation. Will the nation of Israel ever be exterminated? Will the world try to exterminate Israel? Is the world today trying to exterminate Israel? Israel will never be exterminated. Empires came and empires left, but there's still a nation that exists from the beginning of time. It was who? Empires are going to go, and there's one that's always going to stay, and it's the nation of Israel. Right? Right? Huh? Isaiah 54:17, and that verse is directed to Israel. We use it for ourselves, but it's directed to Israel. God's saying to Israel, no weapon that arises from anywhere in the Middle East will never take you down, Israel.
So you know that if he can get rid of the nation Israel, God's plan is for it. And this is the reason why he's always been after the nation.
But we know Satan's plan. We know God's plan. And because we know God's plan, so will Satan ever take down Israel? Never, ever going to happen. A matter of fact, who's going to be taken down? He will. Because Satan, I heard someone say this, I think it was you. Satan is God's Satan. Is that correct? How does it go? The devil's, okay, Satan the devil is God's devil. Right? Why? Because who created Lucifer? God created the angel. He's the one that went haywire, but God created him. So that tells me if God's in control, do we really have to worry about a lot? No. Okay. Really? Right? No. And guess what? I'm here because of appointed time. You're here because of an appointed time. You exist because of an appointed time. You're here for a reason. Amen? We're a reason. We're here as Christians. Why? Esther was to help the nation. We are here to help the world. Let's pray. Lord, you're an awesome God. You're in control and you're sovereign. You had this all planned before it even existed. You knew Esther was going to be born. You knew Donald was going to be born. You knew Fred was going to be born. You knew Jerry was going to be born. You knew Ray was going to be born. You knew Paul was going to be born. You knew Kevin was going to be born. You knew Jeff was going to be born. You knew Larry was going to be born. You knew everybody that was going to be born before they even existed. You're just a sovereign, a God that's so awesome, beyond our comprehension. You lead us. We don't even understand how you lead us, but you do lead us because you are magnificent. You are the ruler of the universe. We pray in your name, Jesus. Amen.